Okay, so I'm just gonna talk to you about sitting. So when we do the sitting practice at the beginning, warm-ups, I'm kind of working on the upper body. So I want you to feel free to sit on a chair with your feet flat on the floor, or you could sit cross-legged. I like to have a block and a blanket. You might have a pillow nearby or a big cushion, and you can sit cross-legged. There's different ways you can sit cross-legged. Here I've got the edges of my feet on the floor. My knees kind of level with my hips, and my knees kind of quite narrow, just only a little bit wider than the hips, and that might be comfortable for you. And you can also take cushions or blocks and just kind of support the outsides of the thighs like that, and that can be a really nice way of sitting upright. You can also sit with your legs crossed in a more wide way if it suits your hips better, knees towards the floor, nice and wide, so that the very tops of your feet are on the floor. And another really nice way of sitting could be to use a bolster. I like to straddle a bolster. If you have a bolster or a few pillows, you can straddle, and you're sort of more kneeling up, very nice for your back. So when we're sitting at the beginning, feel free to use the chair. Sitting up, I would always sit on something, because I think when you sit just on the floor, it's a lot to ask about for your back, you know, and a lot of times we're kind of sitting, we've seen those pictures of people practicing yoga without anything. We think that we should be able to, and that's the end goal, to be able to sit cross-legged without anything. But it's actually nicer if you sit on something. And then just to let you know that when we do kneeling, we'll be doing kind of hands and knees. Just to protect your knees, you can put a blanket under your knees to make it more squishy. I know some of you from the consultations have knee issues. And then if you're weight bearing on your hands, you might find it's easier on fists, or you might want, again, the blocks just to lift the weight a little bit further up, so you're not kind of pushing all the weight down. So that's more tricks for you. And then always handy to have a chair nearby in case you feel quite tired. And again, if you don't want to weight bear. So for example, if we're doing down dog at any point, which we will be, you can always do that with the chair. And it's just less hassle on the wrists. And you can also have it there so that when you kind of do any standing poses, it just means that you'll be able to kind of lift up a little bit easier. Or if you're on the floor and you want to come up, it's just there for you. So sometimes nice to have the chair there. And if you're doing standing poses, a tree, you've got the chair there, or you've got something to hold on to, a little bit of an anchor. So chair's always useful, and you can also use it restoratively if you want to do forward bend, just resting on the chair. So you'll see all these different positions that we do. There'll be lots of options. At least I've kind of shown you a little bit to begin with, and then I'll verbally mention them as we go along, and you can grab what you need. So the first thing to grab is your chair. So take a seat. And you want to sit so that your spine is upright, your shoulders kind of over your hips, and the crown of the head is reaching up to the sky as the pelvis is really weighted down. And you can kind of roll your pubic bone down a little bit in front of you, and maybe take the buttocks back a little bit and widen out your seat at the back. You really feel this nice curve in the lower back, nice natural curve, nice lot of length in the side body. Sternum rising, collarbones widening, shoulders nice and broad, and the shoulder blades, you can feel that they're sliding down the back of the body. Draw the throat back a little bit just to iron out the curve at the back of the neck. And then you can gently close your eyes. You can gaze down if closing your eyes doesn't feel right today. Just tune into the gentle flow of your breath. You can have the palms turned down on the thighs. Or if you prefer, you can take a mudra, chin mudra, palms up, chin mudra, palms down. That's thumb and first finger touching, whatever you feel. Making sure that the width and the breadth of the chest is not compromised. Really feeling now the touch of the sitting bones on your seat. These two bones at the bottom of the pelvis. And you can start to let them kind of sink into your seat. And you could imagine that every time you breathe out, the breath is traveling down the body, down to those sitting bones, and the sitting bones are anchoring down into the core of the earth. And every time you breathe in, you could feel that the energy is rising up the midline of the body and kind of coming out of the crown of the head as if it's reaching you up like just a silver thread pulling you up to the sky. So breathing out, energy traveling down, awareness in the sitting bones dragging and drawing down through the chair into the core of the earth, and breathing in, energy traveling up, and that silver thread just reaching you up. So settle here. And just listening to the breath. You don't have to try and deepen it. It might deepen naturally. Just allow the breath to be how it is and just notice, just check in and just take all your attention to the breath. With the rising of energy as you breathe in, and the drawing down of energy as you breathe out. And a feeling of letting go as you breathe out. Like with the breath in, you've made space and you've lengthened the spine, but as you breathe out, you keep hold of that space, but you let go of the limbs, you let go of the arms, the legs, the feet. So you retain that space you've made with the in-breath. And you can start to see if the out breath can be encouraged to be a little bit longer without any stress or tension. Just seeing if you can kind of let the out breath linger a little bit. Maybe you want to block the throat a little bit, making the ujjayi, soft humming sound of the ocean, but with the mouth closed, with the out breath. Maybe if you're very used to ujjayi, then you can use ujjayi on the in-breath as well. If it's new to you, just concentrate on the out-breath and lengthening the out-breath. By blocking this passage of breath, you're actively slowing it down. And as we slow the out-breath, we encourage the body to come to a restful state. Softening the forehead, softening the jaw. Letting go of any tension that you can. And, opening to acceptance for any tension and pain that you can't right now. Just sitting with that. Really turning the mind and the body towards that state of yoga. So now I'm going to chant Om 3 times. You're very welcome to join me at home or just listen, whatever you feel. But let that vibration of sound really kind of bring more peace, more concentration, more soothing energy to your body, to your mind now. So if you're joining me, we'll take a deep breath in and then we'll breathe out completely. And then we'll breathe in for Om. Oh. And just continue to keep your awareness on your breath. And we'll start moving slowly through the upper joints, taking a deep breath in, and the next breath out. Just let your chin drop gently towards your chest. And the chin doesn't go all the way to the chest because we're going to keep rolling the chest up to meet the chin, opening the collarbones, sliding the shoulder blades down the back. So you're just tractioning the back of the neck, and you can feel the cranium bones just gently drawing away from the upper vertebrae of the neck. The head's weighting you in the front, but the shoulder blades are anchoring you in the back. And if you keep pressing the sitting bones down, you can keep some space in the lower back. So you can work all the bones in line with gravity and just minimize muscular effort holding you up. And the longer you hold, the more you're deeply breathing into this. Just allowing anything to let go. And as with all things, especially with necks, if any of this doesn't suit you, please just don't do it. Do something that feels better for you. Now, still with the chin down, we're going to just gently roll the head from side to side. Really slowly, no sudden moves, no fast moving. The chin is just still tucked under, but you're moving one ear towards the shoulder on either side. And you're just feeling the sides of the neck start to traction one at a time. I'm just feeling in there, having a look, an inner look, seeing if one side's a bit more sore. Normally it is, and that's fine. Just seeing if there's areas that you can be aware of when you practice today to take care of yourself. And then finish with the chin down, and then in your next inhale, gently lift the head up as if the breath in is again lifting you up. And then as you exhale, drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Soften the shoulders, keep them level, shoulders level with the hips. The ear doesn't go all the way to the shoulder, but you're just opening up this space on the right side of the neck. Roll the right shoulder back and down. You can even press the right hand down into an imaginary brick. Just pressing the palm down. Maybe it feels better if you press a little bit further away from you. Just adding a little bit of traction there with the pec and the collarbone open, shoulder drawing back and down. Now bring the hand back to the lap. And next time you inhale, gently center the head as if the inhale is lifting you up. And exhaling, drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. And because we just spent a long time on the other side, it won't go very far to begin with. Let the breath then anchor and let space come to this left side of the neck. Don't force it. Allow it to evolve with every breath. Just keep tuning back in with the breath, and you'll find the exhalations, they'll just invite space to the body. That's their job. There's no need to force anything. Just let it stay where it is. And then if you want to, you can take your left hand and press it down into an imaginary brick. Or you might feel like it wants to come out a little bit. Roll the shoulder back and down. Just find that space where it's tractioning in a really sweet way. Breathe into all the sensations. When you breathe in, flood whatever you're feeling. When you breathe out, just let it go. And bring the hand back to the thigh. And as you inhale, center the head back up. Now exhaling, turning the chin towards the left shoulder. Keep the chin tucked in a little bit so the back of the neck is nice and open. And just hold here for a breath or two. The next time you breathe in, center the head. And as you breathe out, go to the right side. So chin towards the shoulder, but chin tucked in a little bit. So the back of the neck is more open than the throat. Settle for a breath or two. And then as you breathe in, coming back to center. Breathe out, turning to the left. Breathe in to center. Breathe out, turning to the right. Breathe in to center. Very nice. Now let's breathe out and just drop the chin down towards the chest, just to let all of that neutralize. You can wriggle the shoulders, you can make some space and movements with the upper body. Take a deep sighing breath through the nose and out of the mouth. And then when you're ready, gently centering the head on an inhale. As you exhale, you can bring the hands onto the shoulders. And as you inhale, bring the elbows together and up. Then hold the breath as you take the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. And as you exhale, draw the elbows and shoulder blades down the back. Then inhale, elbows together and up. Hold the breath, open the elbows up to the sky, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, and exhale, drag the elbows and shoulder blades down the back. Another 2, inhale, together and up. Hold the breath. You can always look up, lift the heart if it's okay for the neck. Exhale, back and down. One more time, inhale. Exhale. And then going the other way, inhaling back and up. Take the head up if it suits you. Hold the breath as you lift the heart, and then exhaling, elbows together and down. You can drop the head if it's okay. Inhale, back and up. Feel like one of those hibernating bears coming out of bed. Having a good stretch. One more time. And exhale. Bring the hands back to the thighs, center the head, adjust your position, get yourself comfy and aligned with gravity. If you want to stretch out your legs at this point, you're very welcome. Maybe they want to just uncross and cross again, or you want to wiggle a little bit before we carry on. Feeling free. I'm going to stretch the side body a little bit. So hands by the sides as you breathe in, taking the arms out and up, stretching up. You can look up too if you want to. And breathing out, arms out and down. Very simple. And don't force the arms to do anything. Probably halfway up, the palms will naturally turn towards the sky. And as you breathe out, probably about halfway down, palms will naturally fall towards the floor. And you don't have to ask them to do that. They just do it all by themselves. To really feel like the breath is really floating the arms up and grounding the arms down. And I like to move the head as well, but it doesn't suit everyone's neck. Just keep flowing with the breath. Making space in the waist and the ribs and the armpits. Now let's keep the left hand down. And as we inhale, take the right arm up. And as you exhale, you can reach over to the left. So this bottom arm, you can roll the shoulder back and down. You can take it over. You can just stretch as much as you want. You can hang the top hand down. Make sure the neck's not involved. So find a position for the neck that just means that it's quite neutral and you really feel it more in the side waist, in the ribs, in the armpits. And then the next time you breathe in, take both arms up. And as you exhale, drop the right hand down and reach over to the right again. Bottom shoulder, roll it back and down. You can stretch that arm out as much as you want. You can be on tips of the fingers, however you like. You can drop that top hand over the head. Neutralize the neck. Feel it in the waist and ribs, armpit. And then next time you inhale, take both arms up and then exhale to the left. And then we'll just flow with the breath. Inhale up, exhale right. Inhale up, exhale left. Inhale up, exhale right. Inhale up. And then now exhaling, we're going to twist to the left. I'm going to take my right hand to my left thigh and my left hand behind me. I'm having to think really hard here because I'm mirroring. Twisting my ribs over to the left and just turning the head towards where the center of the chest points. I don't need to take it behind me. I could take the neck just slightly further than the chest. I'm not going to strain the neck. I'm going to feel really that I'm kind of unwinding the bottom of the ribs. Next time you breathe in, center the ribs and take the arms up to the sky. And as you breathe out, twist to the right. So the left hand comes on the outside of the right thigh. The right hand goes behind me. And all I'm concentrating on is twisting the bottom of the ribs. And I'm looking to the right. And the next time I breathe in, float the arms up and the ribs to center. And let's go double time. Exhale, right. Inhale, up. Exhale, left. Inhale, up. Exhale, right. Oops, left. Inhale, up. Exhale, right. Now we're going to inhale up. Okay, let's go back to the left. We start in the twist. So my right hand's on my left thigh and my left hand's behind me. I'm going to keep my ribs pointing towards the left, and I'm going to take my left arm up and I'm going to bring it towards my ear, towards the right. And I'm just opening up the left side of the body even more. And then I'm going to take the arm up to the sky, take it back behind me. And as I breathe in, ribs to the center, arms to the sky. Breathing out, twisting to the right, same twist as before. Inhale, take the right hand up behind, point the palm towards the ear, and exhale, reach into a lateral twist towards the left knee. Inhale up to the sky, exhale, drop that right hand down. Inhale, ribs to the front, float the arms up. Again, exhale, left, twisting to the left. Inhale, lift the left arm, and exhale, reach to the right. Inhale, arm up, exhale, drop the arm down, and inhale, both arms up, ribs to the center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, reaching to the left. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, drop the arm down, and inhale, floating the arms up, back to the center. Very nice. Exhale, take the arms out and down. Okay. Let's undo our legs now. So you still might want to sit on something, but let's stretch our legs out and just wiggle the toes. Have a breath, wiggle the shoulders. So I'm just scrunching the toes. You can do the fingers as well, why not? Piano fingers. You can try piano toes. Probably quite advanced pianist to be able to play with your toes. And then flexing and pointing. So I'm going to try flexing one foot and pointing the other. And then changing. My thighs are really tight. I'm sitting upright. I might want to lean back if I'm tired, but my thighs are really strong. My legs are straight and I'm pointing one foot, flexing the other, and then change, 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 change. Sun's shining bright on my face now. I'm just this kind of white blob. Maybe that's better. Okay, and then bounce the knees, give the heels a little shake. There we are. I'm going to just drop the blind there. Okay, so let's now circle the ankles. Take the knees and the legs a little wider so you've got room to really circle the ankles. You can start with just the ankles, so the knees and hips staying where they are. And then you can kind of progress to making really big circles. You see the whole of my thigh rolling there. Okay. And then let's bring the left foot forward, flex the toes, point the toes up to the sky, bring the right foot kind of next to the knee or maybe tucked in a little bit. You've still got space between the left knee and the right foot. And the right knee is going to go up towards the sky. And I'm going to again twist. I'm going to twist to the right. Now I'm going to keep pulling the outside of this right knee away, so I'm not kind of crossing it over. I'm really using the outside of that right thigh to be strong as I move into my twist. And I can pull with my hand, but I'm pushing with the thigh as well. So I'm twisting to the right. You might also want to take the elbow over, depending on how much you can twist, what feels comfortable. You might also want to go into prayer, always pushing the knee, the outside of the knee into the elbow. So the knee stays up towards the sky. And don't overdo it. Still the beginning. Let's change sides. Right foot straight, toes up to the sky. Left foot, you've got space between the foot and the knee. So you've got lots of space for your hips. Knee is going to press into your right hand here as the left hand goes behind you. And I twist to the left. I'm going to keep pulling the knee out so that it's not going to sink into the midline. And I can hook if I want. I can also prayer pose. Whatever feels good. Maybe one side is just not available, one side is. We'll find the bit that feels good. And then come back to center. Very nice. Now release the legs. I'm going to come onto all fours. So if you want your blanket under your knees, you can make a little cushion for your knees. You can have your chair or your blocks nearby if you need them. And we're just going to start with this cat-cow, which we can always come back to whenever we want a break. Or sometimes we might not want to do the complicated plank poses and vinyasas, and we can always come to cat and cow to iron out. So if you're with me, hands, knees and feet are hip distance apart, and I'm just rocking in movements. As I inhale, I'm going to take the tailbone up, set the belly free towards the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other and lift the head. And as I exhale, pressing the hands into the floor, drawing the tailbone down, the belly towards the spine, opening up the shoulder blades and tucking the chin in. And I'm just going to float through just to nourish the lines of the spine, using the floor to press against. So when I breathe out, I'm pressing the hands into the earth to really lift up into this lovely angry cat C shape. And as I inhale, I'm also letting the chest sink and rolling the shoulder blades towards each other to make room for the head and tail to lift up. And I can be on my fists, I can be on my blocks. I can also do this on my forearms. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to step let's step the left foot between the hands. Let's stick with the left, even though I'm supposed to be mirroring. I'm not mirroring now. So left hand between the hands, and you're going to press the foot into the floor so that you can get the strength to kind of lift up away from the floor. And then you're going to twist towards the left and see if you can just take the right hand down to the outside of the knee. And like you were doing before, you're going to press the knee into the arm and maybe come into a twist here. Pressing the foot into the floor. You can keep the back toes tucked under if it's more comfortable for you, more stable. Have the chair near you if you feel wobbly. Pressing the outside of the knee into the elbow, and you can take it however you want. You can even have that right hand on the floor. And then let's come back, hands on the floor, take that knee back, tuck both toes in and just stretch the bottom towards the heels. Stretch the hands out in front of you and drop the forehead to the floor and just have a lovely stretch out there. And then come back onto all fours, position your hands well and bring the right foot forward between the hands. And you're going to press on the foot to just lift up to make space so that you can twist over to the right. You can either have the hand on the outside of the knee, left hand on the outside of the knee, right hand on the hip, or you can hook again, like we did before, but just another version of it, moving the knee outwards towards the elbow and into prayer pose. But you can also be here. You can be wherever you like, having a little crescent twist. And then coming back, hands on the floor, taking that foot back, tucking the toes under, pressing the bottom towards the heels, send the hands out in front of you, stretch the armpits, stretch the spine and bring the forehead towards the floor. With your hands stretching forward, they're also pressing back to stretch the plantar fascia of the foot. Taking some breaths, feeling the rib cage nice and wide as you breathe in. And then coming back onto all fours. And we can work into a down dog now, if that suits you. Spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes under, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, press the hands down and forward as you take the bottom up and back. So let's start with the heels up and the knees nice and bent. And try and sink the chest down and drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Really making a lovely long line from the hands to the hips. Press into the balls of the hands so the wrists aren't taking all the strain. Press the thumb and the first finger into the floor and kind of squeeze the arms towards each other. as much as you can. And you can always drop your knees at any time and come back and join us. We can start to stretch out one leg at a time from here. So you can start with both legs bent, both heels up, and move towards having one leg straight and one heel down. And then both legs bent, both heels up, and changing. And just do this a few times, having as much rest as you want, having as much breath as you want, and then maybe just kind of getting a little bit more dancey with it. And then you can either drop the knees to bring the left foot forward, or you can bring the left foot forward and then drop the right knee. So we're coming into a crescent lunge again. Again, you can tuck the toes under of that right foot, or you can keep the top of the foot flat. You're going to press down into that left leg, and the pressing down is going to let you unpeel yourself a little bit more. So again, you might be on your blocks, trying to lift up. You might be with your hands drawing the knee forward and the chest back. You might feel you can do prayer pose, or you might take your arms up to the sky, wherever you want. Pressing on that front foot, so you're not just sinking in, but you're really strongly pressing, so you're stable. Very nice. Now reach the arms forward as you reach the chest forward. Bring the hands flat to the floor, either side of the foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. And what you're going to try and do is come to plank pose. So press the hands into the floor, lift the body away a little bit, make some space to take that left foot back. Now find plank pose with the hands pressing into the floor. You can drop your knees if you want to, but your thighs are really strong and your belly is tucked in towards your spine. And then you can come down to the floor however you want to, or you can challenge yourself to draw the elbows towards the ribs and come down nice and slowly. And then flatten out the feet, stretching one leg up and back behind you. Bring the forehead to the floor. The hands are under the shoulders. And as you breathe in, you're going to just drag the back of the neck, the back of the chest, and the back of the head up off the floor, just a tiny bit. And as you breathe out, you're going to drop the forehead down. And let's do that again, breathing in, breathing out. Very nice. Tuck the toes, pressing up onto the hands, comes on hands and knees, and back to down dog. It's optional. You can hang out in cat and cow here if you prefer. Have a little stretch out, another dance. You can add a twist to your dance, looking under your armpit. And we'll step the right foot forward. If you prefer to drop both knees and bring it forward, that's fine. Or you can step forward and drop the back knee afterwards. And again, pressing that right foot into the floor. I'm going to lift up. So this thigh is really strong. Come up to my own level, maybe on the floor, maybe on blocks, maybe on the thigh, maybe hands in prayer, maybe arms up, back toes tucked under or flat, whatever feels better. Not sinking and hanging out, but pressing the foot into the floor, really strong in my front leg. Deep breath in and breathing out, reaching forward like you're moving through honey. Press into the floor, lift the back knee, press into the floor more. Super slow motion, find your plank. You can always do cat and cow. You can come down, you can drop your knees, chest and chin, or you can come down super slowly. Flatten out the feet behind you whilst lifting one leg at a time, opening up the space in front of the hip. Now slide your hands forward, bring the elbows under the shoulders. So we're going to hang out in Sphinx a little bit, open the legs as much as is comfortable. So your bum is really comfortable, your lower back is really comfortable. Press the elbows and the forearms and the hands in, not just the elbows, but everything. Press them into the floor so they lift you up. Press the thumb and the first finger into the floor. Spread the fingers wide. Start to open the collarbones, draw the shoulder heads back. Can you imagine the triangular shaped shoulder blades and the point of the triangle down towards the bottom ribs? You're going to imagine that you're pointing the bottom angle of the shoulder blade in towards the ribs, and that's shooting the heart forward whilst bringing the throat back. So I won't be looking forward or up, I'll probably be looking down towards my thumbs, but I'm shooting the heart forward, really opening the front of the heart. And then take the elbows out to the sides, bring the forehead to the floor. Take the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, come up through hands and knees, one more time into downward facing dog. Again, you can be on all fours, having some cat and cow. You can never have too much cat and cow. You can dance in your dog, or maybe you're settling now into a strong still pose. Neither one is better than the other. And again, we're going to step the left foot forward. So you can come through dropping the knees first, or you can just try and step the foot between the hands. This time we're not going to drop the back knee, and we're going to keep the back heel lifted. So we're not pressing the heel back, we're lifting it up. We're on our tiptoes, and here you might want to have an incremental lift up because it's quite a long way from down here to where we're going. So you've got your blocks or your chair handy. The important thing is you're going to use the strength of that left thigh, press the left foot into the floor, press it down, and that's going to give you the lift up. Press the leg down to come up. Take the arms wherever you want. You can take them up, you can have them in prayer pose. You might prefer to stay a bit low or your hands on the chair. High lunge, front foot strongly pressing down, heel underneath the knee, so the knee's not strained, thigh strong. Now we're going to turn to the right. So all I'm going to do is turn my ribs to the right and drop my back heel down. Open my arms out into warrior two. So my left knee is going to move outwards towards my left little toe. My right hip's going to stay a little bit facing the left. My shoulders are going to soften. My ribs are going to turn all the way to the right. So ribs to the right, hips slightly to the left. So this lovely twist going on in my rib cage. And I'm sinking down as much as I feel comfortable. If my arms are tied, I just flop them. Do what you can. It doesn't matter. It's Saturday morning. It's Christmas time. Now drop the back hand. Turn the left palm up. Take it to the ear and reach it back towards that right leg. Breathe deeply. Now take the left arm down, forearm on the thigh, and then sweep the arm forward and up. The palm is facing down. We've got a big diagonal line from the left heel to, no, the right heel to the right fingertips. Now again, left foot comes into play here. We're going to come back to warrior two. I'm going to press down to come back to warrior two. And then I'm going to windmill down, turning on my back heel. And then I'm going back to down dog. So I'm going to very gently, and you can work your way through hands and knees to get here if you want, come into down dog. And again, if you prefer, you can come onto hands and knees. Now come into plank, weight forward, and come down to the floor. However you like. Iron out that space in the front of the chest, bring the forehead to the floor. Now we're going to take the arms a little bit wider off the mat, fingertips pointing forward, elbows up in the air. Nice space between the legs so the lower back's really comfy, as much as it feels good. As we breathe in, pressing the tops of the feet down, we're going to snake up. And breathing out, we're going to snake down. And again, breathing in, snake up, pressing the fingers into the floor. Breathing out, snake down. One more time for luck. Inhale. And exhale. Very nice. Hands under the shoulders. You can go to hands and knees for some cat and cow, or you can tuck toes under and have some down dog, whatever you want. Maybe by now you might think child pose is looking friendly. Just to take a breath in between the poses before we then step the right foot between the hands. Again, get here how you can. but we want to end up with the right heel under the right knee. We want the back heel lifted. And then we're going to see if we can really strongly press that right foot into the floor. Press that down, press it down, press it down to come up. Use your blocks, use your chair, hands wherever. Sometimes hands on hips can really help with the balance. Hands up if the spine is lined up with gravity. You don't want to be kind of hands up if you're forward, because that's a lot of work. Hands up if it's all just one line. Taking some deep breaths in your high lunge. Oof. And then I'm going to turn my rib cage to the left as I drop my left heel down. I'm going to open up my right knee over to the right, and I'm going to move my left ribs to the left. Warrior two. Taking some breaths. And I can drop the back arm, turn the front palm up. So take the right fingertips back towards the left foot. And then I can take my right forearm down and sweep my left arm up, palm towards the floor, big long line between left ankle, left fingertips. And then I'm going to press that right foot into the floor again. That is what is going to lift me up to warrior two. And then I'm going to make my way back down, turn on the back heel. I can come to downward dog. I can go to hands and knees. Last one now, you see. I can be in child pose, resting. I can be in hands and knees, having a bit of cat and cow. And then I'll come to plank or just make my way to the floor for my last back stretch, stretching out my legs behind me. I'm going to take my arms back behind me, stretch them towards the toes, lift my elbows and my shoulder blades, squeeze them towards each other, lift the back of my head, the back of my neck, and even maybe my legs. Balancing on my abdomen. You don't have to come up very high, just defeating gravity. That's all we can ever do. And then release. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Come up onto hands and knees. Last time, downward facing dog or cat and cow. And then stepping into the center of the mat, 1 foot at a time. Feet hip distance apart. You can angle the outer edges of the feet parallel. So the feet might be turning in a little bit. Make some space in the belly. If you prefer to be a bit higher or on the front of your chair, you can. If your back is fine, you can let yourself soften down. Bend the knees as much or as little as you want. This feels good. Maybe dropping the crown of the head down. Maybe using the blocks, maybe using the floor, maybe hanging onto the elbows. Taking some deep breaths. Just letting all that settle. Lots of leg work there for Christmas. And releasing the arms. And we're going to come up very, very safely, but very strongly for the legs. I'm going to drop the bottom. And then I'm going to press the feet into the floor, lift the chest. And then I'm going to press the heels into the floor and come up to standing. Just take a few breaths. I can settle the feet on the floor. Move my blanket. Into Tadasana, feet under the hips, in line with the hip bones. All still with me, I see. Very nice. Taking some breaths. Strong stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust my mat. Let's do tree pose. So lots of different ways you can do it. If you're a bit wobbly, have the chair near to you. You can either have the seat of the chair to catch your leg, or you can have the back of the chair to hold on to while you do the opposite leg. So let's have the heels under the hips, some space between the feet. And we want to think about, like we were doing all this time, pressing down to come up. And that's where your grounding comes. It comes as you press and react to the earth. So let's start by hands on hips, if that's comfortable, or hands by your sides, or hand on your chair. And you're going to bring your awareness to the left foot. And you're going to kind of step and move your weight down into the left foot as you lift the right heel. Now, if you're pressing that left foot down, you're not going to sink over. Sink like you are waiting for the bus. You're going to press the foot down, and this outside edge of the hip is going to shorten. If it's like that, it's long. You're going to press down, it's going to shorten and tighten, and this is going to give your hip some stability. Also, it's going to balance you. From here, you can turn out your right hip, your right knee, and your right toes. You're going to bring the heel on the inner edge of the lower calf, and this might be your tree. Keep pressing down instead of sinking. Press down. You can also bring the sole of the foot to the inner calf. You can also bring it all the way up. Keep pressing down, not sinking. Press down. And as with balance, as well as this grounding coming from that foot, gaze is fixed. So you don't need to look at me anymore. Look at a point in front of you that is not going to move. And then come to the breath. A lot of us can hold balances when we're holding our breath, but eventually you have to breathe. So you can notice that as you breathe, you are moving. It's normal. We're moving and we're calibrating. So just don't be frightened of that gentle movement with the breath. Hands can be on the hips, hands can be in prayer, hands can be up. Wherever you want. If you come out, just get the grounding back in that left foot. It all comes from the left foot. You can challenge yourself. If this is too easy, make it harder. Move around. If it's hard, make it easy. Find stability and stillness. Now come down through the stages, all the way down, toes on the floor. Then turn the knee and the hip in and step onto your right foot. Now, as you step onto the right foot again, you're going to not sink into that hip. You're going to press the right foot down, and it'll take a while because the right foot's been in the air. Lift the heel up, left heel up. Keep pressing down. Turn the hip and the knee out, heel onto the inner lower calf. Keep pressing down to come up. Wherever you want to go, take it wherever you want to go. Ooh, find your wobbles. Press down, lift up. Hands wherever you want. Gaze is fixed, breath is full and deep, and there is movement. There is movement, it's fine. But that right foot is stable and pressing down so that everything else is light. It's effortless. I could be anywhere. I could be doing a dance. And if it's too hard, take it lower. Turn the knee forward and then step down onto that left foot. Very nice. Now close your eyes a minute. Just check that your feet are level, more or less level, underneath your hips. Close your eyes and just feel how stable you are. Often when we're on our feet, we close our eyes and we're just unconsciously trying to find the balance. But at this point, there is strength in the thighs. There is balance. We're grounded. And this is going to help us during this season. Okay, so I want to do a wide leg forward bend now. So take your legs wide. Again, you can have blocks in front of you so you can come down incrementally. And you might want the front of your chair there to make a more restorative pose. I would use something, even if it's a book or a few books, because it's nice to let yourself settle, not go to the very, the very end pose and then kind of try and brace yourself into it. Your body can just let go bit by bit. So we've got nice wide legs, toes pointing forward, maybe heels turning out a little bit so that already your legs are kind of turned in slightly, hands on hips, take the shoulder blades back. Just got a message. See you later, Adrienne. Take your elbows back, take your shoulder blades back, and you're going to just lift your heart and hinge forward with the chest, as if you're not going to sink forward and curl the back, but you're going to keep lifting the shoulder blades, lifting the heart. So you're kind of coming down with a flat back. And then when you come down a certain way, when the legs won't really let you go any further, then find something to hold on to. Hopefully the floor is not too far away and you've got a block handy or a book handy, because we want to linger here with the spine straight before we go down and curl, just to let the legs unwind and just to take a few breaths. And then you can work your way down. Make sure you're stable and you're not going to fall. If you want to, you've got the chair in front of you. You can just hang over the chair in a restorative pose. You may be able to go to the floor. At some point, you'll be ready to curl the spine. And, you know, not all spines want to curl. Some spines prefer stability. You'll know if you've got a back injury to stay more upright. But if you want to, you can make your way down, just curling as much as you can. Don't force it. There's no prize. Father Christmas will come, whatever you look like. Crown of the head, reaching down. And just hanging, but not shaking, not pulling, not forcing, hanging, using your hands like a volume switch, because it's up to you how much gravity you let yourself take. But maybe it's too much if you hang and the legs feel like the strings are going to break and you want to just push against the floor so you can find that sweet spot. Really up to you. Find the pleasure, not the punitive. So much of yoga now is just forceful. Finding that sweet spot wherever it is for you and feeling free to just wriggle around. Maybe you need to bend the knees a bit. And then we'll come back up. So we come up in reverse. So where we've got our spine curled, we're going to lift the spine up. We're going to lift up onto the block. Maybe you're going to lift up to the next level. You want to get to the stage where your legs can take over and you can bring your hands to the hips. And then you just press your feet down as if if you didn't have a sticky mat, your feet would widen and slip away. And then coming up. And then zigzag the feet back towards each other. And then shake your legs out. Very nice. Okay. So let's come down onto the floor now. I'll go this way. No, I'll go this way. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come down with our feet bent. Coming down on the floor, back of the head on the floor. And just widening out the sacrum underneath you. We're coming down to start settling in now. So starting to maybe just windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. So my feet are hip distance apart. My hands are over my hips, on my belly, on my ribs, and I'm just really enjoying that kind of twisting sensation as the body slides under my palms from side to side. And I can have my head up to the sky, or I can move it in the opposite direction as my legs just moving from side to side. And maybe you want to just do it without your head moving, more soft and less to think about. This is very nice, like cat and cow for the legs, just gently rolling over the tops of the glutes there, just softening all that out, just lengthening the outside lines of the legs. Really important. Really nice bit of myofascial release for you. Very nice. Now, if you have a block, you can place it between your thighs. Or if you don't have a block, maybe a book. And if not, you're just going to keep your knees parallel. If it's a thin block, you might have to add something. You want your knees to be kind of level with your hips. So if it doesn't feel right, take it out. And just aim to keep your knees nice and parallel. Because we're going to bring the feet under the knees. We're going to bring the hands away from the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to press the feet into the floor and lift the hips up. Lifting the hips up, but squeezing the block in between the thighs. Pressing the feet down. And we can also wriggle a little bit in the shoulders to get the shoulder blades towards each other. Maybe take the hands underneath the body, interlink the fingers. Flare the ribs out. Keep squeezing the block. Press the feet down and forward. And that will lift the hips up and back. Keep some space between the chin and the chest, and the back of the neck pressing down, the back of the head, sorry, pressing into the floor. The back of the neck is not pressing into the floor. There's space between the back of the neck and the floor. Legs are doing all the work now. We spent so long making them strong. And then before you drop the hips, iron out the shoulder blades first, so there's space between the shoulder blades, and then gently drop the hips to the floor. Release the block. And you can go back to this lovely windscreen wiping, or if you want to, you can hug the knees and make shapes with the knees. So you can try both, whatever you feel would be most useful for you now. We're going to do our last pose before our relaxation. Now let's just carry on doing this for a bit because it's so nice. Maybe we're doing wide circles. Maybe we're doing circles with the knees together, one direction, the other direction. Maybe we're hanging out, happy baby, or Baddha type thing, wherever you are. And then bring the feet back to the floor. I'm going to take the right ankle and cross it over the left knee, just above the knee and just above the ankle. So you're not bone on bone, lots of space. I'm going to keep the right toes pulling back towards the right knee. And I can hang out here, my arms nice and wide, hands on my hips. I can energetically draw the right knee away from me. I can even press it away from me with my right hand. Or I can lift up my left leg and take my hands behind the thigh or over the calf, or over the shin. Or if I want an extra stretch, I could have a belt, or I could take hold of the trousers, or I could place my foot on a block, just making that angle a little bit closer towards you. So find what serves you. You can always use your right arm to kind of inch that right knee open as well, but you can make it passive and relaxing, not a struggle. Find what suits you. You might be just in the hanging out stage of your class now. It's effortless, restorative versions of the poses. Keep pulling the toes back towards the knee, just so that the kneecap is quite stable, so it doesn't allow too much twist. So you're really encouraging the twist to come up the outside of the hip rather than the outside of the knee. And then you can replace the foot on the floor, both feet on the floor. If you enjoyed having a block there, you can always move it to the other side. And start, oh, I've done that side. Start slowly on the other side. So I've lifted my left foot up and I've got just above the ankle crossed just above the knee. I'm going to pull the toes towards my kneecap. I'm going to hang out here for a minute, let myself settle. I'm going to energetically move that left knee away from me, making space in the groin. And then I can do whatever I feel. Maybe I'll lift that right knee up, start to feel something. Maybe I want to just not bother with the shoulders and just place my foot on something. Maybe the chair's there and I can press against the chair. Maybe it's okay for my shoulders and I'm not feeling it yet, so I'm going to take hold of my shin. Whatever you want. Maybe you're using a belt so you can settle down on the floor. Lots of deep breaths. And then releasing that right foot, releasing the left foot. And again, we can do the windscreen wiping, fascial release. Just let the body slide under the palms. Nice and slowly, rolling over the tops of the glutes, rolling over the sacrum, rolling over the iliac crest, the back of the hips, the back of the pelvis. Settling. Feel that stretch on either side of the lower back. It's your QL and your rectors, if you're into all of that. Really settling. Feel this is unwinding everything you've done. And you're ready to settle further into your deep relaxation. And now you can find the right position for your body to take your Shavasana, your deep relaxation. So I invite you to maybe have something under your knees, maybe have something under your head, cover yourself with a blanket. I'm going to sit up so I can see you. So get yourselves comfortable. Blinds a little bit. If you have eye bags, you lucky things, pop them on your eyes. Now I see you all back in gallery view. Lovely. Settling down now. You've worked hard, very hard for a Saturday morning. Or maybe it's nothing to you super fit bods out there. Just feel how you feel. Make yourselves comfy. If there's any unwinding you need to do, any of your own poses that you know make you feel better, then go ahead so that you can settle. Now settling into the earth. I'll run for another 5 minutes or so. It's all recorded if anyone has to go. I understand. Treat yourself to the Nidra recording later. So settling down, body on the earth now. Let yourself drift and sink with your exhalation. So we've worked very grounded, in a very grounded way. Lots of leg work, lots of strong use of the earth to lift us up and give us energy. So by now the legs are really ready to feel quite worked and quite nourished, hopefully, not too achy, hopefully. So let them go now as you lie down. Feel that the earth really can take your legs. You can really let go of them. If you work in this way, you nourish the musculature, bring movement and release to the fascia, then you should kind of be able to feel that difference when you rest, how easy it is for the earth to just take your legs. So let your legs go. Feel the spine on the earth, resting down. Feel the arms on the earth resting down. The pelvis really heavy on the earth resting down. The head on the earth really heavy resting down. Feeling the whole body resting on the earth. Warm, nourished, spacious. Tune into your breath and just feel the gentle rise and fall of the abdomen as you breathe in and breathe out. And let that anchor your relaxation. Let that be all that's left as the body sinks into the floor. There is just this sensation of breath moving in and moving out, as if the breath is the only thing that exists, and it's just coming and finding this body, moving into this body, and moving out and away from this body. And letting the mind settle on the gentle flow of the breath in and out. So the mind just follows the breath now, follows the passage of the breath as if it's listening to waves coming in and out of the shore. The breath just like the waves coming in and out of the shore. And like when you're on the beach, the waves can feel quite distant. And then when you start concentrating and focusing in on them, they become louder and louder. So as your mind settles on the waves of your breath, the breath becomes more and more important and focused. Again, the breath being the only thing there is left. As the body settles and the mind settles. And yes, other thoughts might come in. They can come on the wave of the breath and they can go on the wave of the breath. And you might linger for a few breaths, of course, but that's okay. They're still like clouds coming through the sky. All these clouds, they make their way and eventually they pass on by, like all of our thoughts or emotions do. They come through and they move on. And we can just start to witness this process as we ride the waves of the breath, sinking deeper and deeper into the deeply relaxed state of yoga, a state of mind, of acceptance of the body, with all its limitations. All its things that work really well and all its things that don't work so well. In this state of acceptance of our minds that sometimes work really well and sometimes don't work that well. And this is the human condition. Perfectly imperfect. Imperfectly perfect. Just right. Good enough. So now take some deep breaths and really feel like you're inviting nourishment, strength, courage, energy, motivation, all the things that you think you might need today, this week, this next 3 months. let's say, to get yourself through. Breathe in that stuff now. You can start to invite movement to come back with the breath. You can feel that the breath is just making space for the limbs to start moving, the jaw to move, the fingers and toes, the ankles, the wrists. You can keep breathing in and out deeper and deeper until before you know it, you're yawning and stretching and smiling maybe. Ready to move, ready to use this energy for the rest of your day, or ready to go back to bed. No one will judge you for that. And then rolling onto your side, maybe as if you're curled up in bed. Gently coming up. I mean, if you don't want to come up, it doesn't matter. You can turn your video off. You can keep your video on and blatantly just stay where you are. I don't mind. If you want to come up, you're welcome. You can place your hands over your heart. You're welcome, Justine. Hands over your heart. And you can drop your chin, bowing your head to the wisdom of your heart. And just promising yourself a bit of giving this festive season. Remember to give to yourself, and remember to promise yourself to allow yourself to receive this Christmas period as well. So as well as giving to all the people you give to yourself, and make space to receive what is gifted to you. And let's place our hands on the earth. Let's place the hands on the floor and just offering a prayer or an intention, if that suits you, or just a bow to Mother Earth who's holding us. And I wish you well. I wish you good luck. I wish you all the good things. And if you want to go, just go, and I will stay if anyone wants to say anything or do anything. Just feel really free to go. You're very welcome, Tracy. I will stop the recording now. So if you want to talk to me, you can.
Just thank you, Steph. It was absolutely fantastic.